Welcome to Friday's Flavor, a podcast where we take the pulse on New York business from New York business. Subscribe to support the movers and shakers, making you love New York. Friday's Flavor. This is your girl JoJo coming at you straight from Schenectady, as always. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to hear interviews and advice from the people making it happen here in New York. Thank you very much. And we're here today with Mr. George Urciuoli. I said it right?
Perfect. You got
Ah,
it.
man, total win for the day. It's always a pleasure talking with you, George. George is a Legal Shield owner, like almost like a franchise, is it?
Yeah, an independent associate.
Wonderful. So George is an independent associate of Legal Shield, and it's something that I feel a lot of people need to hear about. I personally have this product already, and before I met George even, and then when I met him, I was like, oh my gosh, you have to be on my program. Yes. So tell us a little about yourself, in short, a little background about who you are, George.
Well, I grew up down in Dutchess County, about an hour and a half south of where we're at now. And I guess I always had the entrepreneurial spirit in me. I had a little retail business at a time when I was in college. And after getting out of college, um, shortly after that, I started my own business. I did graphics communications and worked for a lot of corporations and grew that business over a 20-year period to about 28 people, and then ended up working down in Manhattan for 10 years at an advertising agency and got into investment banking communications, and that led into a whole another part of my life. And after that, got back into my own business again, and lived in the Fishkill area in Dutchess County, and then my wife and I met, and I moved up to the Albany area, and that's almost 20 years ago now.
Oh man,
Here
do
I
you
am.
love it? Isn't the capital region the best?
This is absolutely I just love it up here. I mean,
Me too.
there's so much to do. I mean, we got the Adirondacks, we got lakes every time you turn around, and between what's happening, in Albany up to Saratoga, it's just fantastic. There's just so much to do.
Absolutely. I've said this to a couple of friends of mine in the past. I'm like, you could literally do anything that you could do anywhere in the world. You can do it in New York in a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything. You can go to like desert plain type terrain. You can hike in pines. You can see waterfalls. You can climb snow-capped mountains. You can go to the beach. You can go shopping and dinner in a major city with five-star restaurants. I mean, there's nothing you can't do here in a day. The one downfall is 7 months of winter hell. I will give it that much. I'm not a big winter person.
Oh, really?
Not really. No, and I used to be, so it's wearing on me in my age. I'll tell you, when I was younger, I used to ski and do all sorts of like snow activities. But then as I got
Yeah.
older, after I had a couple of kids, the cold affects me more or something. Like it makes my bones hurt a little bit, and I'm just kind of like, I don't want to go outside. And my kids, my poor kids, love the snow. They're like, let's go sledding, let's do this. I'm like, great, let me call a friend or a family member who's willing to do that with you. Hold up. And thank God I've got good friends and family. I'll call my girl Vanessa, and she'd run up and grab these kids and take them out to go what is it, on the tubing, and my
Yeah.
sister will take them sledding or take them out, and God bless them, I couldn't do it. But beyond that, New York is the bomb diggity, especially the capital region. We've got an amazing community. But tell me, what brought you to your Legal Shield journey?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story, a little bit, but maybe if I position Legal Shield, um, kind of like a little background on technology, maybe the audience can relate to it. It wasn't too long ago. A fellow named Steve Jobs came out with this little gadget called an iPod, and all of a sudden, all of our music could get downloaded to it, and you're carrying hundreds of CDs around in your hand. And soon after that came the first iPhone. You not only had your music, but you can make a phone call, you can take pictures, and oh, you can surf the internet. And that was
Yeah.
just groundbreaking. And then he comes out with an iPad, and this technology kept breaking. There were products we didn't know we needed. That's the
Yes.
point of that example. Well, now, somebody had introduced me to Legal Shield, and part of the conversation was similar to what Steve Jobs did, put so much technology and capability in your palm of your hand. We now have Legal Shield in the palm of our hand because it's an app on your phone. Just like so many other things that you can do, the ease of accessibility is what you have. And maybe right now, people didn't know that you needed it because we really don't think of having access to a law firm
Yeah.
maybe the way we should. And primarily because it's it's not affordable.
Right. You always think you have to be rich to have a lawyer. Only rich people say, I'm going to call
Right.
my lawyer, you know?
And that's a great point, Jolene, because the legal system shouldn't be decided on how big your wallet is as to what you can afford. And, backing that comment up with, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any,
Yes.
especially in this day and
Yes.
age, in what we're going through right now. Um, what a time to get reset and look at some of these things that we have. Well, with Legal Shield, I can tap that app and call my law firm and talk to a lawyer within 4 hours. And by the way, just so the audience knows, Legal Shield doesn't own any law firms. What they've done over the years is
Right.
they've partnered with a law firm in
Mm-hmm.
every state. So our law firm is based in Long Island for New York State, and it's Feldman, Kramer, Monaco. And I've used them. I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I've used them at least a dozen times.
Wow.
And sometimes it's not necessary to be looking to sue somebody or take
Right.
action to somebody. Sometimes you just need to know.
Yeah. You need to know that you can protect yourself. And
Right.
like you're saying, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. If you don't know you can protect yourself, you can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And too often we get into this process of just Googling for everything.
Yeah.
And the one thing is that, to the best of my knowledge, Google has never passed the law exam. So, and
Yep.
you don't know if the
And you don't
answer,
know how to search stuff right, to be honest. Let's be honest. You're not a pro Googler, okay?
a very good point. That's an excellent point. And the other thing is, you don't know if the answer you're getting is pertinent to New York state law.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's why I'm
it's
saying that you don't even know how to search things properly. I know half the time that I'm looking for something, I'm wrong. I'm like, no, I didn't search that right. I gotta. How do you word this, honey? I'm what? Come here. Tell me, how do I word this?
yeah, you're right. You change the wording just a little bit, and you'll get different answers.
Yeah.
Or obviously different search results. So I think Legal Shield, which is, by the way, a 48-year-old company, so they didn't start 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They've been around, but I really believe that they're solving, a problem, and
Mhm.
there's great, value to the product um, for everybody. So it was really, something that I just felt the time is now.
Makes
So
it affordable too. I mean, the affordability factor, I think, is something that people don't get. You know, a lawyer is super expensive, super expensive. I know this because I've had to use lawyers. I'm not a bad girl, okay? I got an immigrant husband, and those lawyers are expensive. I mean, especially if you're looking for one who specializes in a particular type of law. Like if they only do immigration law, they only do this kind. They're good at what they do. They're very good at what they do, and they studied for a very long time, and they're worth every single penny you're going to spend on them. But it's going to be a big penny. unless you have
Yeah.
something like this product. So what are some of the benefits of having Legal Shield besides the affordability factor?
Well, from the individual point of view, or a family, plan, it's very easy to get your will done. And I think the numbers are something like 70% of us don't have a will,
Yeah.
in part because it
Uh,
takes time it's expensive, takes time to work it out with an attorney. But you can tap the app and get your will started right on your phone and just
what?
send it right into the attorney and have a conversation and get it all buttoned up, and then they will mail you your packet with your will in it. And then you just
Shoot,
file.
I didn't know I have this, and I didn't even know I could do that.
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go reach out to my Legal Shield agent and find out why I did not know this. That is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So for families then, wills, but then also, like, imagine property, your dog bites somebody on your property, something like that, like things like that happen that we don't think of, and then you're getting sued and suddenly you need a
Yeah.
lawyer, or you get bit by a dog and suddenly you need a lawyer to cover those medical expenses, and you think, and
Well,
you're like, I'm just a normal person, I can't afford these things.
you're right. And sometimes it's something small.
Yeah.
We think it's small, but it could be a landlord tenant dispute.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not getting your deposit back. And maybe that deposit is, several $100s,
Yep.
a lot of money. But if you try to hire a lawyer to go after to get that money back, it's just not practical.
Yeah.
And to go into small claims court will take you forever.
And it's an expensive process. I don't, a lot of
Yeah.
people, they don't realize that just to bring even if it's not your fault and you're the one suing, just to go to small claims court, there are costs involved in filing a suit. And so if you lose, you lose that money along with it. It's
And
it's a
and
big
it's also
deal.
your time. It's a
Mhm.
time consuming process to do that.
Now, it is for individuals and families. I know that. What about businesses?
Yeah, that's one of the things that really, drew me to Leo Shield as well. As I mentioned earlier, I had a business for 20 years. And if you're starting up a business or you've been in business for a while, it's expensive. If you're going to pick
Yeah.
up the phone and call an attorney for every little thing that you need. One of the nice parts about the Legal Shield service, whether you're an individual or you have a business, too often we're in a habit of signing a document.
Without reading it.
Exactly.
Ugh.
And if we did read it, would we even understand it? Now, here's the thing with that. Every document that we sign as an individual or a business owner has been prepared by an attorney to protect the entity you're going to do business with, which makes all the sense in the world. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But before you sign it, wouldn't it be nice to have an attorney look at it from your point of view to
Right.
protect you?
With your best interest in mind.
Exactly. And that's what Legal Shield allows you to do. You just take that document, send it into the law firm, and they will look it over from your behalf and red flag areas that you may want to be concerned about.
And you won't spend thousands of dollars to do it. You won't spend, huge retainer fees to do it. What I love about Legal Shield is you guys are a small monthly fee to just have this service on hand whenever you need it.
Well, it's a good point. The individual plan or the family plan, because it's one plan for an individual or a family, is $24 a month. That's less than $1 a day.
And it's so worth it, because imagine if suddenly you're in legal problems, and we're seeing how the justice system has been working out lately. Let's say you suddenly get, arrested and charged with something, and you don't have a lawyer already. You don't have Legal Shield. You don't have any sort of protection whatsoever. Who do you call, and who can you afford for
Well,
$24?
here's the thing about the example you just gave. With the app that's on your phone, there's a button on there that's emergency. So if you're being detained, you can hit that button and get an attorney on the phone immediately or within a minute. That's
Wow.
so now you're talking to your attorney. And
Wow.
how many, I mean, I have friends that are attorneys, and I know if I call them at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, I'm not going to get them on the phone. But that's the kind of help and support you get. And it's all right on your phone. We all carry these phones with us everywhere we go. So I
Yeah, how
have,
about instead of recording your interaction with the police, you prevent it from escalating by getting your lawyer on the phone
right.
immediately. Wow, that's so timely. That's so timely. I mean, I think most anybody I know could honestly needs that type of service in the environment that we're living in right now, especially to just know that peace of mind that creates a lot of peace of mind. You know what I mean? Just knowing that you can hit a button and get help right now.
Now here's another part of our, it's actually Legal Shield. If you're Spanish speaking,
Mm-hmm.
give me
Como
a call
yo,
number.
usted sabe que yo hablo español.
There you go. You can ask to speak to a Spanish lawyer.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's
So
fabulous.
there's no break in the conversation. I mean, you don't lose anything in the translation. So that's, even our website can be converted right into, by selecting your language, everything goes into Spanish. So it's a huge advantage. Excuse me. I don't know if you've ever had the luxury or the mishap of getting a speeding ticket, perhaps a traffic violation.
I'm not even going to tell you how many points I have on my license, sir.
Well, maybe you didn't know, but if you picked up your phone and you tap the app, you take a photograph of your speeding ticket and send it into the law firm. They'll get back to you in 4 hours to review your license to make sure you have a good driving record, and they'll do their best to plead that down to a non-moving violation.
I would be in trouble.
You would still have to pay your fine for that non-moving violation. They're not,
Right.
getting it wiped out for you, but it'll save points on your license, which will save you money with your insurance company.
And then you don't have to go to court, right?
Right. They
Oh,
do,
that's a
they
big
do
deal.
that part.
That's always, I'm going to tell you, as a person who's had a lot of tickets, I'll tell you the time spent in court, and they don't let you pick and choose your court date nor your
No.
time. They have court when they have court, and traffic court is usually only, like, depending on what town you're in, is only a certain day and time of the week, and so you're going or you're going. And
Yeah.
I've missed work. I couldn't tell you how many times I missed work because I went to go represent myself in traffic court unsuccessfully, because you girls got probably, I still think it's like 11 points on my license.
Really?
I don't know when they come off. A couple of them might be coming off very soon. I'm hoping.
That's great.
I'm not the best of drivers. I'm going to just put that out there. I am not afraid to admit when I'm not good at something. And listening to music while driving is one of them. Depending on the song that's on, I could go 70 miles an hour, not even know I'm going in a 40.
Yeah. Well, it's not your fault. It's the way these cars are built today.
I'm not even going to get into that. It's definitely my fault. Oh man, George. So, what does the future of Legal Shield look like? What is that?
I mean, I think it's, especially with what has happened in the last couple of months with the COVID-19, getting back to the business question, from a business owner point of view, you can call the law firm unlimited phone calls you can make and talk about any legal business issue you want to talk about. We talked about contract review. How valuable is that to a business owner?
Yeah.
A lease that you're going to sign.
So you're thinking a lot more business owners are going to have this type of service versus paying thousands of dollars for.
Knowing what I know now and having owned a business, I think Legal Shield would be one of the first things I get going into business, because they will also guide you as to whether you should be setting up a DBA, subchapter S, an LLC, and how to structure your business from that point of view. And all the questions that you have as a business owner, depending on what kind of field that you're in or business that you're in. Another big advantage is because Legal Shield has law offices in all 50 states. If you had a vendor dispute and that vendor is out of state, you have access through the network of law firms through Legal Shield to help you with those issues. Debt collection. Here's something about debt collection. If you hire an attorney to collect the debt for you, they're going to take at least 1/3 of the debt, if they feel they could even collect the debt. If you hire a debt collection firm, they're going to take their fees. With Legal Shield, because you're in the plan and they do debt collection for you, and let's say it's a $3,000 debt and they get it collected, you get all $3,000.
Wow.
They're not taking 1/3 or any percentage of that money. So that is huge for business owners that extend credit to people.
Wow. That's wild.
It
I
is.
don't know. Wow.
So
My
why?
mind's a little
So
bit blown.
so here's my question that I'll throw back to you. Why would a business owner not have a plan like this, especially when the plan itself is a tax write-off?
Because they don't know it's there. That's
Well,
the only
that's
reason I can think of.
yeah.
Because they just don't know it's available. But now if you are out there listening, you now know that you can, for a very small monthly fee, protect your entire business, protect your entire family, or protect yourself as an individual. I think that's
Absolutely.
great. I love legal. I mean, I've used Legal Shield for myself for one of my traffic tickets because I didn't have it before the other ones, unfortunately. I finally wised up and got it for myself, though. And I mean, I think it's well worth the investment of the small monthly. You're paying more in coffees per month than you could be paying to protect your entire business or family. I
Yeah.
mean,
Now here's another to put it in perspective. If you had a company with 50 employees or less, okay, it would, now there's 3 plans. Let me set it up that way. 10 employees or less, 50 employees or less, 100 employees or less. So I'll take the middle plan. All these benefits, and there's a whole list. There's hiring, firing, questions and all the stuff. There's an HR component that you can plug into it. If the national average for an attorney is $280 an hour, and you have less than 50 employees in your company, what value is that to a business owner who could pick up the phone and ask an attorney a question every hour on the hour, or have debt collections letters sent out, have contracts reviewed before they sign, landlord-tenant questions? I could go on. I don't want to waste the time. What hourly rate, what would be the rate for the Legal Shield product for a small business owner?
Wow.
What would be the value of that to that person?
It's invaluable. You can't even tell. You can't really tell because you just don't know what's going to come up. Like you could say, oh, well, I know I have X, Y, and Z that I would use it for, but then you don't know that your establishment's not going to get sued, fined, something like of the sort you need to contest.
So if you were that business owner and you had 30 employees, would it be worth to you to have a law firm backing you up for $80 a month?
Absolutely. I mean, I know the individual plan for me is something like $12 a month, and that's nothing. And $80 a month is nothing to protect your business.
That's incredible.
It makes no sense not to have it. I know people who spend more on video games every month than that.
Yeah.
Not to call you
Yeah.
out, brother-in-law. Nobody Google him, because if he finds out, I'm in trouble. Okay. I don't think he watches my show. God. Oh man, I've had so much fun with you being on here, George. You'll have to come back on again, because I think that
Oh,
anything
anytime.
that we talk about is always relevant and timely, and what better time than this to have this conversation, in all honesty. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me today. And for anybody who is interested in getting more information on Legal Shield, talk to George. His information is going to be pasted to this entire thing, so you can see it's there already. Reach out to him. He's very easy to talk to, as you can see, and it's a very easy 5-minute setup. I know myself personally, it only took me like 5 minutes to download the app and get everything started. So there's no reason not to reach out today. Thank you so much for being on, George. God bless you and your business. I pray for prosperity for you and your family. And thank you for being on today.
Jolene, thank you for the invite. I really enjoyed doing it. Look forward to doing it again, and blessings back to you.
Thank you. Everybody hit the subscribe button to help support business owners like George, and have a happy Friday.
Thank you.